The Codex Zographensis is an illuminated Old Church Slavonic canon manuscript. It is composed of 304 parchment folios. The first 288 are written in Glagolitic containing Gospels, and the rest written in Cyrillic containing a 13th century synaxarium. It is dated at late 10th or early 11th century. Discovery and publishing. The manuscript was found in the Bulgarian Zograph monastery on Mount Athos in 1843 by the Croatian writer and diplomat Anton Mihanović. Codex's existence was however made known to public by Ismail Sresnevsky, who published some parts of it in 1856. In 1860, monks from the Zograph monastery donated the Codex to Russian Emperor Alexander II, who donated it to Russian National Library, where the Codex is being kept today. The first to describe the Codex was Victor I. Grigorovich in 1877, and 2 years later the Glagolitic part of the Codex was published by Slavist Vatroslav Jajic in Berlin as Quatu or Evangeliorum Codex Glagoliticus, a lim Zographensis nunc Petropolitanus, completely transcribed in Cyrillic with introduction and extensive philological commentary in Latin. Jajic's edition has been reprinted as a facsimile edition in Graz in 1954. Other scholars who have extensively studied the language of Codex Zographensis include the Joseph Kurz and the Leszek Moszynski. Content. The manuscript contains 304 parchment folios. The first few ones have not been preserved, and thus it begins with Matthew chapter 3 verse 11 and ends with John, with Mount 1620 to 2420 being later insertion in Old Macedonian Church Slavonic. In total, the first 288 folios are written in Glagolitic and contain Gospel text. In addition, several additional folios from the middle of the manuscript are missing. At the end of the 11th or beginning of the 12th century, some missing folios were replaced with 17 new ones, written in square Glagolitic. They were themselves most likely a palimpsest. The rest of the 16 folios contain 13th century synaxarium. Origin and linguistic features. Along with the slightly older Codex Marianus, it is an important document for its use of the round Glagolitic script, the oldest recorded Slavic alphabet. It exhibits linguistic features characteristic of Western Bulgarian recension. By analyzing the language of the Codex, it was established that the style and antiquity of the text is non-uniform, second part being more archaic than the first part. Some scholars explain this by gradual adaptation to the language of the source from which the manuscript originated. Generally, phonology of the language of Codex Zographensis is archaic. Vocalizations of strong years are rare. A penthetic L is preserved, though in most parts of the manuscript years are being assimilated. It is a bit less archaic with respect to morphology and syntax, though the forms of definite declension of adjectives and older forms of participles are well preserved. Gallery.